Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Coach Emery.
I would say I know most of you, but not all of you. So just to introduce myself really quick, my name is Emery. I've been a certified personal trainer since 2012. That's actually what I do for a living, besides coaching here. So I've got a lot of experience with nutrition, working one-on-one with my clients and also with myself. So for those of you who don't know, I have done bodybuilding in the past. I've done 3 bodybuilding competitions, which involve not only a lot of weight training, but really intense diet, right? So the whole goal is to get down to be very, very, very lean and kind of presenting your best package on stage. I've also worked with several clients that have also done bodybuilding competitions as well. So not that anyone here is going to be doing a bodybuilding competition, but just so you know my experience with working with people on nutrition and helping them dial in their diet and get to like the best version of yourself that you want. I know everyone's goals are going to be a little bit different in this challenge. Some people, you might want to lose weight. Some people might want to put on some muscle mass, and ideally you get both of those together, right? So I'm going to have everybody, we're going to go around and say your name and what your health goal is with this challenge. So it could be lose weight, it could be build muscle, it could be learn how to eat right, dial in your diet, whatever. What is your goal? Why did you sign up for this challenge?
Allie, this is Scarlett, and I want to get stronger and then also figure out what I really should be eating.
Okay.
So there's pasta for breakfast and stuff like that.
Okay. If it fits in your calories, you can have pasta for breakfast.
My name is Anna, and I am doing the escape from Alcatraz in June.
Okay.
In California, and I'd like to run the whole thing, which means I would like to also lose 15 pounds so I can run.
Okay.
Get back to my running.
How far is the run?
It's only 8 miles, but
Okay.
it really helps to be back at my running weight.
Right. Okay.
Non-runner weight.
Chad, he drove, so I'm stuck here. No, I actually like to lose some weight so I can run again, because I've got new hips and I haven't been able to really use them. So.
Okay. Good.
Sean, lose body fat and get back to like my
Okay. That's good.
what,
So your name and then what your health goal is like.
Oh, the health goal. Slava. My name is Slava, and I don't have like many particular goals, but
You're really buff. Tons of muscle.
yeah. I have like slightly increased cholesterol, so I guess that
Lower your
would be a
cholesterol?
good, yeah, good goal.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, let's get back to you then.
Oh.
name and health goal.
Yeah.
Oh, my name is Joanna, and I just I want to try to build muscle and keep the fat off.
Okay. Good.
I'm Cindy, and my goals are to lose weight and to get stronger.
Good.
I'm Cade. Just want to lose my body fat.
Okay. Good.
I'm Carlos. Probably lose 2 pounds.
Did you say 3?
2.
Okay. That'll be good. That'll be easy.
Hi, David. Probably cut out sugar.
Okay.
Lynette, I'm stuck. I'm stuck at 140 and I can't get down. So I'm hoping nutrition will help me
Okay. Good.
get there.
Have you been tracking? Just as a side note.
I'm trying to, but I'm trying to be a fat burner, not a sugar burner.
Right.
And carry. I don't know. Probably just getting motivated. I already kind of know what I need to do.
Right.
Just getting like usually these seminars motivate me to do better. So I just need somebody to like motivate me.
Alex.
Yeah, after bicep tendon surgery, like I was good for like a few weeks, and then it just like it's easy to be loose. So like my body fat's back up, so I want to get that back down. Probably lose 3, 4, 5% body fat.
Yeah, that's good. Yes, awesome. Well, that's great, you guys. So some of you have, a lot of knowledge about calories and macros and stuff like that, and some of you don't. So raise your hand if you're totally new and you really don't have any idea about how that works. Don't be afraid if you don't. Okay. All right, cool. So the very first thing that you guys want to do is track every day, everything you eat, everything you put on your food, if it has calories in it, because most of us have no idea what we're even eating in a day or how much. So, if you don't know where you're starting, you don't know where to go, right? And one thing that I've learned over the years is that most people underestimate what they're eating. And then if you are the type of person that's gonna track your exercise too, most people tend to over exaggerate how much they're actually exercising as well, right? So the first thing, I know last time we did a seminar, some of you might have been here, we learned how to use MyFitnessPal. That's the app that I like to use. That you can pay for a subscription for that, but you can actually do it for free too, pretty easily. It won't give you your macros for each meal. You have to be responsible to track that on your own. But it's a great tool. And at the end, I can show you guys how to use that if you're not familiar with it. So the very first thing, you guys, is to track your calories. So make sure, if you can do this. You want to track your calories every day. Another important reason why you want to do this too is you want to be consistent with your calories. So if you are having 1,200 calories one day, then 2,500 calories the next day, then 1,500 calories, it's really hard for your metabolism, right? Your body likes to have everything pretty even and consistent, right? So track your calories every day and try and hit the same amount of calories every day, okay? Everybody's gonna have what we call maintenance calories. So what maintenance calories are is basically what it takes to keep your body in its current state, right? So it can be based off of your body weight and your activity level. So it's not gonna be the same for everyone, all right? So if we wanna talk a little bit about how to figure out what your maintenance calories are, we can talk about that a little bit more towards the end. But basically it's gonna be your baseline. Okay, so say we have a 200-pound person, right? And let's say their maintenance calories, I'm just giving you an example, are gonna be like 2,300. And that's to keep them at 200 pounds. We're not even talking about what kind of body type they have. We're just gonna go off of 200, 2,300 calories to keep them at that weight. So say they wanna lose X amount of pounds. Well, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to lower the calories, right? That's just the most basic thing to keep it not complicated, is we're gonna have to lower that in order to lose body fat, okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So we would start maybe by lowering this. Once you've found what your baseline is, right? You're gonna subtract, say you're gonna take about 200 calories off a day. And then you're gonna track your progress weekly and see that how much weight you've lost. Good consistent weight loss, you guys, is about 1 to 2 pounds per week. Now, when you're first starting off, usually your first week when you start dieting, you might drop like 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and then that will taper off. But this is gonna be more consistent. It's not a crash diet, right? This is something like you wanna sustain for the rest of your life, hopefully, right? So, taking away these calories, so let's say we would take away 200 first to start, and then just kind of measure your progress weekly. So besides just calories, we'll also get into like macros. Who's familiar with macros? Yeah, good. Okay, so your macros are your macronutrients, and these are what you need to survive. Okay, so you need protein, you need carbs, and you need fat to survive, right? So when you're setting up your fitness pal or tracking your calories, you're gonna wanna have some sort of format for your macros. So the most important, if you're trying to put on muscle, is gonna be protein, right? So protein, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. Okay? So ideally, just to sustain your body, the recommended daily allowance is like 0.8 to 1.6 per kilogram. Okay, that's just to live. So if you are lifting and you're training, you're gonna need way more than that. Okay, so really ideally you want about 1 gram of protein per pound of your lean body mass. Okay, so what do I mean by lean body mass? So if we're trying to lose weight, okay, you probably don't want to go, say you weigh 200 pounds. You probably don't want 200 grams of protein, right? So what's really helpful, and this is a good plug for doing the in-body scan, is if you do the in-body scan, you're gonna get your lean body mass, okay? So that's gonna tell you how many grams per pound of protein you should aim to get every day, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so that's super important. The next one, obviously, that's really important too, is carbs. Same thing, 4 calories for 1 gram of carb. Carbs are super important for your energy, your brain function, heart health, right? There are diets out there that are super low carb or keto, very, very low carb. They still have carbs. So if you're a person that does that diet, you're not doing 0 carbs. You can't live without that. So keep that in mind. Carbs are super important when you're working out and trying to build muscle mass. And then the last one is fat, our favorite, at least my favorite, and that's gonna be 9 calories per gram, okay? This is important for cells, for your brain health, absorbing vitamins. So fat's important too. When you're setting up your calories and your macros, what I like to do for my clients, this is just a suggestion, everybody can find out what works best for them. I do a 40, and this is percentage, 40-20 split. This is a good split for building muscle mass and losing body fat. And I know there's other ways. I think Zone Diet, you guys do 40-30-30. Is that correct? Whoever's doing Zone? And I'm not super familiar with Zone, so if you guys are interested in maybe trying that, I would ask Alex or Carrie for some guidance on that one. This keeps it really simple for you guys. I know there's a million diets out there and it can be really confusing and information is always changing, but really if you just focus on your calories every day and a formula kind of like this, making sure that you're getting enough protein and carbs in and fat, you can ideally have more flexibility in your diet and what you're eating if you're just kind of sticking with that blueprint.
Question, when you say the 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, do you mean like just the lean body called skeletal muscle mass, or is that?
Yes.
That, okay, so no water.
Are you looking at your in-body scan?
Yeah, like muscle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So say it's like 135. So you're gonna shoot for 135 grams of protein every day, right?
Okay. But
yeah.
But then, if that's 40% of everything you eat, that basically you eat.
So you might have to, right? So you might have to adjust your calories based on that. But if your goal is to build muscle, that's when that's important, right? So that's the goal, is to get around there. If you're really trying to follow this, you might have to adjust that up or down a little bit, right? And it might not be exact. So I'm gonna actually give you guys an example. So I have a client right now that's training for a bodybuilding competition. She started out in February at, well, let me write this down just so you have an idea, at 210, okay? She wanted to cut for an event this summer, so we had to start her to figure out what her maintenance calories were. So I played around with it for a few weeks, and we basically started her at, I'm going to give you an example of her diet. So, and this is actually good if you guys wanted to use this too for yourself. So we started her out at 18, so she's 10 minutes, 1804 total calories for the day, okay? So for breakfast, her breakfast was 330 calories, and she had 1 cup of cooked oatmeal. And that's important too, if you're tracking, you gotta make sure you put cooked. Same thing with meat. Make sure you put cooked chicken breast or cooked ground beef or whatever, because it's not gonna be the same. Obviously when you cook it, it shrinks down. And especially for like ground beef, you wanna put drained or whatever if you're not having all the grease in there. Then she had 3/4 cup of mixed berries. So like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, right? And then she had 1 egg plus half a cup of egg whites.
Cup?
Yep.
How many eggs is that?
So if you use actual egg whites, you would have to kind of measure out half a cup, because every egg is a little bit different too. I don't like using eggs because then you have to throw away the yolk, right? So I just buy the pasteurized, because you can actually use egg whites in a smoothie and stuff. It's pasteurized. I know it sounds kind of gross, but it's a good way to get extra protein in. Because it can be a challenge to get all your protein in a day, especially if you're not used to that. For her lunch, it was about 500 calories, and she had 5 ounces of ground turkey.
Cooked?
Yep. Cooked ground turkey. 1 cup of lightly sauteed bell peppers and onions. The thing is, if you don't like certain veggies, I don't know if you guys can read my handwriting here. You can switch them out. There are more carb heavy vegetables, like bell peppers. Some of them have a little more sugar in it, carrots and stuff like that. But generally speaking, like those are just kind of free calories. So don't, you know, I tend to not worry so much if you're going to switch out your veggies. And then she had 1 cup of cooked rice. So this is her complex carb. Real quick, complex carbs they just take longer to break down. They make you feel fuller, more satiated. Rice, quinoa, potatoes, things like that. Other than just like regular carbs would be like sugars that your body absorbs and uses right away. So that was for lunch. Then she'd have her pre-workout snack.
You want me to write while you talk?
Yeah, your handwriting is probably better.
It gets harder when you're bent over.
Yeah, I'm kind of like this, so. So her pre-workout snack was about 180 calories, and she had non-fat Greek yogurt cup, like the Chobani one or Oikos. Those are both different in calories, so even though they're non-fat. So she got her protein there, and then 1 regular size apple. So let's say like a medium apple. So she gets those carbs in pre-workout. Post-workout, about 120 calories, just a protein shake. About 30 grams of protein.
125.
Yeah. And then for dinner, it's about 554 calories. 5 ounces of sirloin steak. And 1 cup of cubed cooked potatoes. I like doing them in the air fryer. Does everybody have an air fryer? Yeah. That way you can control, you know, you can just spray a little bit of oil on it. And then 1 cup of steamed veggies.
Can you ask how tall she is? Just to get an idea.
She's 5'8". Yeah.
And does she stick to this menu every day?
So I'm gonna get into that a little bit. This is just an example where, like, what we started her out. So if you're interested, you can chat with me and I can help you get this figured out. I mean, this is an 8-week challenge, so I don't really want you guys spending a lot of time trying to find what your maintenance calories are. I would say just see where you're at right now by tracking every day, and then you'll know where you're at, and then you'll know to subtract from there, right? And then her pre-bedtime snack.
Oh. I like how she eats.
Fun.
This cookies and milk in bed. This is the in-bed snack.
So for her, all she got was a protein shake. But you can incorporate whatever you want into your bedtime snack as long as it fits in to your macros, right?
What if you get a sugar McDonald's and then after?
So her total calories,
Which one was that?
1804.
This one, 14.
Oh, 120, same as last. Okay, so this put her close to the 40-40-20 split. It's very hard to get perfect, you guys. It was 38, 38, and 24. So she only has 164 grams of protein, right? So ideally, I can't remember what her lean body mass was at the time, because 210, she had a lot of body fat still. So it was 164 grams on her carbs. So that put her pretty close to what her lean body mass was. Okay, so it should be close to this range, but if it's not exact, that's okay, right? So she's now currently at 175 since February, right? So we've been consistent, and now since she wanted to cut down for an event she had this summer, like a wedding, and now we're focusing on building back up. So we're reverse dieting. So we went from her lowest point, and then we started adding 100 calories per week to get her up to find out what her maintenance calories are, and her maintenance calories are like 1950. So even though she's down a lot of weight, she can now eat more food and maintain that body mass. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Unless she's wanting to keep losing.
What's that?
Does she want to keep losing or no?
Well, our goal right now is to put on muscle mass. And she is getting leaner just because she's sticking with her maintenance calories and lifting really heavy, right? So long term, you know, she's gonna be able to probably bump up her food more and more and more, the more lean body mass she has on, right? Faster metabolism requires more calories to get you going. So for this challenge though, you guys, since primarily everyone's goal is to lose weight, we're gonna focus on, you know, calories, making sure you get in, you know, your macros, and tracking at least weekly your weight. And when you do your weigh-ins at home or here, wherever you're gonna do them, it should be the same day every week and the same time. So most people like to do it on Friday after they've had a great week. Friday morning, you always wanna make sure you go to the bathroom first. So do your morning thing and make sure, you know, you haven't eaten or done anything before you weigh yourself. And ideally you'll be naked or in your underwear, because that'll give you your most accurate weight, right? So, yeah, any questions on that?
Is the brown rice still the preferred rice to consume?
Brown rice takes a little bit longer to break down. In the bodybuilding world, they're starting to push more for like white rice because it's broken down easier to utilize, easier. Honestly, I don't think it matters. So eat what you prefer. So if you noticed here too, guys, this is a very clean diet. And obviously that's what we always recommend. Your body's gonna feel better, it's gonna perform better if you're not eating a lot of processed stuff. My client here also has some food allergies. So she has dairy allergies. Notice there's really no dairy other than, and her protein shake for her was like a pea protein, right, plant-based. She's on the FODMAP diet. So if you're familiar with that, it's kind of limited. So she's had to change some things around. And the Greek yogurt she can't usually have, but she'll take like what is it called? Lactate pill. Yeah, and then she can process it. And I don't know, does anyone have dietary restrictions here? No? Oh, awesome. Okay, because that could be a challenge to get protein in. I mean, you might end up having to just do a lot of plant-based protein shakes and stuff like that, which is not necessarily fun, but it gets you to your goal. Yep.
This is like an average day where she's working out that day. If
Yes.
she's not working out that day, I would presume that the pre-workout and post-workout will go away, but everything else stays
Right.
the same?
So she usually doesn't. She'll just have a couple shakes to try and hit her protein goal for the day.
Okay.
Right. And you can structure, like, I mean, to keep it simple, you can eat the same thing every day, especially if you're just starting out. If you want to start getting more technical about it, yeah, on your rest days, you're going to change. You probably don't need as much carbs, that sort of thing. Protein you want to keep up just to maintain. Also, yep.
Sorry, can I double click
Yep.
on that? That's very interesting. So you would maintain your protein intake throughout and then have more carbs the day you work out?
Ideally, because carbs, that's where I don't want to get too complicated. So, you know, carbs are like your fuel for your workout, and they also help replace your glycogen stores after your workout, especially because we're doing like this high intensity stuff with CrossFit. So it's super important. Does it have to be right after your workout? No, it needs to be within about 2 hours after your workout.
Okay.
So if you're not working out and you're gonna have like a chillax weekend, maybe you don't need to have as many carbs. You can cut back on that. But you still wanna try and stay pretty consistent with your calories every day. So that's gonna be the best thing for your metabolism. What's that?
And the proteins.
Yeah, yep.
That's
To help maintain your muscle mass. Yep. So also with this, people are like, oh, I don't know how to shop for this. You just pretty much stick around the outside of the store. I was talking to Alex about this. You know, the aisles can get dangerous. However, if you need to get like canned tuna or canned chicken or something like that, obviously you need to go down those aisles to get your rice, things like that. Obviously those aren't all on the outside, but you kind of want to stay away from really processed stuff, and I know that can be hard. So for people who have a sugar thing, right? Personally for me, I did the sugar detox and that worked great for me. I don't even eat sugar like at all. Every once in a while I might get a craving and I have dark chocolate. I'm not like super perfect, so I'm not trying to be all high and mighty. It's just not a thing for me. I think everyone knows my vice is like tortilla chips. So if I go out to eat and I'm just like, don't even bring the chips because I'll just go ham on the chips. So that's kind of my vice. So I don't buy it. And I know for some of you that's not like an option because you live at home with other people. You got your kids, maybe they're not eating, you know, so it's kind of like if you're sticking to a nice diet, notice how she eats frequently throughout the day. You don't have to do that. Not everyone has time to do that. You might have to consolidate your meals and make them bigger. The timing might not be perfect, and that's okay. Like the main focus should be this and this, right? So this keeps her satiated throughout the day. All of her food's already made, so she's less tempted to have, you know, those cheap treats, whatever. However, I allow that for her. So what we do, and this is something, you know, once you're getting good at doing this and you're like, I'm gonna treat myself, it's okay to do that. You have to live your life, right? You wanna have consistency. So you can say, all right, well, I'm gonna bank some of my calories, right? And I know that I'm gonna go out to dinner and this is probably what I'm gonna eat. Try and pre-plan it if you know where you're going, right? And still make healthy choices. You might go out and have steak and you'll have a similar meal than this, but we know it's gonna have a lot more calories than that, right? So you overestimate and you try and work it into your food for the day. She's been doing that. She'll do that maybe once or twice a month, and she's consistently been able to lose weight, right? Because she's tracking everything and she's making sure she's putting that in. So yes, you can go out to eat. You just have to make smart choices. Dressing on the side, right? Maybe like a lighter dressing. It's really easy to accidentally go way over on your fat. No, all these things that I have on here, she uses spray oil. You can go way overboard on the spray oil if you're just doing this in the pan. Then it's just, you might as well pour olive oil in there, right? So that's the other thing is you just quick spray to make sure that it doesn't stick. That'll help you manage your fat. She doesn't have any nuts or peanut butter or anything in that. diet. So, and she's still at about 24% with this. So if you guys, I know I get it, I like peanut butter too. If you're gonna do that, that's gonna probably take up a lot of your fat for the day, right? So just be smart about it and make sure that you plan ahead, because then you might have to take away from meals later on, right? Any questions so far? Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. So I'm going on a trip pretty soon.
Okay.
And like, I'm trying to lose weight, lose my body fat. Just my goal is I kind of want to be like, you know, not skinny, but at least no more body fat anymore.
Yeah.
Losing the belly.
Right.
But I'm afraid because my friends, they might like go out for food, like, you know, like Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A or whatever.
Right.
I mean, so.
There, you could still, if you're going out, fast food, not ideal.
No, yeah.
But you can still get, you know, like don't eat the whole bun, maybe don't get the sauce on it, maybe get something where you can put it on yourself. You can do special orders like that. Sometimes they have other options versus like fries. You can get fruit. You know, do that with like the kids' meals and stuff. Do your best. It is hard when you're traveling, but you just want to try and think like, how can I make this a little bit healthier? I have a hilarious story that I can share really quick with you guys. So when I was doing my last bodybuilding competition, I went out with some friends and we went to like an Irish pub to eat. So I get there and I look at them, they're like, are you gonna be able to eat anything? I'm like, I usually can't eat anything anyway. So I get there and I look at the menu, everything's fried. So the only thing they had on there that I could eat was like a Caesar salad, but I couldn't have the cheese, I couldn't have the croutons, I couldn't have the dressing. And it was a chicken. So they brought me this huge plate of shredded lettuce and this tiny chicken breast on the side. And I was like, well, that's not even enough protein for me. So I said, can I get another chicken breast? And they're like, okay. So they brought me out two. And then I said, I don't need all this lettuce. So they like took half the lettuce away. So I had a thing of shredded lettuce. I cut up my chicken breast. And then I said, okay, well, what kind of like sauces do you guys have? You know, ranch, all this stuff with tons of fat in it. I couldn't have it, wasn't part of my food. So they had malt vinegar, not even balsamic, and I just put that on there, and that's what I ate. And we all like pretty much laughed and cried, and I had water, and they all had beers. But you know, I made it work. I was eating out, and I was like, okay, this is just what I got to do to get in my food. So it's not fun to go out, but at least I got to go out and hang out with my buddies. So it's just kind of like you accept that. Now nobody's going to be doing anything that extreme, obviously, but you can ask for, you know, healthier choices, things on the side. They make special accommodations for people all the time in most restaurants, right? So you don't have to end your social life just because you're trying to focus on your health, right? Does that make sense? Cool.
I have a question that is, okay, I promise I'm taking this seriously, but what do I do about beer and wine?
So the latest is, because beer and wine technically aren't a macro, right? They're calories, they're empty calories. Yeah, you can, I don't know the exact amount, I have to look it up, but you either put them in as fat or as carbs, right? And I can look that up, because I know that now people, yeah, so yes, you can.
Okay.
I mean, I would try and maybe limit it, but it's not gonna be the end of the world if you have some beers, but you gotta put it in here. Everything you do, you need to track. And if you're gonna do a little bit of a cheat, because we're not perfect, and I don't expect everyone to be like amazing every single day, I'm never gonna cheat, da 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 da. But you have to track it, you have to put it in here. I think when I did Alex's diet umpteen million years ago, he's like, I like treats. So we put in, what was the ice cream?
Halo Top?
Yeah, Halo Top. But he was allowed to eat like a whole carton of it, I think, at a time. And it helped fulfill his protein.
Like every night,
and
he was like,
and after a year, the Halo Top turned into Halo Top Plus.
Yeah.
Nuts, chocolate protein powder. It was like this evolved into this major meal.
But were you tracking it?
Yeah. I mean that.
He's like, maybe not all the chocolate chips and
perfect,
the marshmallows. Yeah.
There's nights where I'd ease up a lot.
Yeah.
But what about? I'll give a concrete example. Sorry, but like my wife is French. Tonight I can guarantee you're gonna have a board of cheese and a bottle of wine.
Okay.
That's not gonna be optional.
Right.
So I guess, well, that's mostly fat, a little bit of protein, a lot of sugar.
Yep.
I'm not gonna skip on that one.
Okay.
But
So track it.
That's right.
If this gets thrown out the window for the day, at least focus on this, okay? So calories, I mean, protein is very important, right? Because that's gonna help you build the body that you want, right? But as far as weight is concerned, this is your bottom line. So if you're gonna have a day that's just, you know, you have friends and family over and you really just can't, there's nothing else to do, you can limit yourself to how much you're gonna eat, right?
But is there a metabolic impact on? I guess there is, right? I mean, in terms of how do you compensate a little bit for that? Is it cutting carbs elsewhere? I have more calories and tomorrow I have less, or?
Right. So that the wine would be considered your carbs for the day, right? Yeah. And there used to be a saying, if you drink your carbs, you can't eat them. Which is true. So, but you also don't want to be smashed and then you know you have nothing. You can't. It's not that you can't have fun, and that's what I always tell my clients. You can have fun, do the best you can to stick to this, and if it happens, it's not going to happen every day, right? So if it just happens a couple times a month, it's not going to undo your progress, right? So that's okay. Like I said, you want this to be a lifestyle change. It shouldn't be like a prison sentence. So make it work with your life. And some people are really good about being super duper strict. I'm only good about being really super strict if I'm training for something. I need that goal, because then I'm like, everything's honed in and I can totally do the most horrendous diet on earth. But that's like what I need to be able to follow. Otherwise, like I eat really healthy, but you know, I don't limit myself to only these things, right? Another thing too to keep in mind is you can swap a lot of this stuff out. So consistency is good. I like to give my clients a diet and then say, okay, well, these are your parameters, swap out whatever you want. So you don't have to eat the same thing every day. Most of us are pretty much creatures of habit, and we like to eat kind of the same breakfast. We probably eat kind of the same lunch. And then dinner, you're usually having a protein with some sort of carb and veggies. It could be a mixture, like a stir fry. It could be, you know, separate, like how she has, because she swaps this out with like salmon, you know, and it might change these a little bit, right? So keep that in mind too, is if you're switching out your proteins, kind of check where you're gonna be at for your macros for the day.
When you weigh yourself, should it be like just every week? Like, so like every Sunday, for example?
I don't think you need to weigh yourself more than once a week. Yeah.
That's what I meant, like,
yeah.
Weigh yourself, like let's say I weighed myself last Sunday,
right?
So I weigh myself tomorrow for next Sunday.
Yeah, yep. So the reason why I don't weigh myself every day, some people like to do that, is because we get water weight change, like 1 to up to even 3 pounds, right? So it can be really discouraging, especially if like, you know, like I said, this number is probably gonna be bigger to start off with if you haven't been following a diet, and it might not be everybody's goal to be losing weight. Maybe you're gonna see your body transforming and you're gonna put on lean mass and you're gonna lose body fat, and you might not see a huge change in weight loss, right? So that can happen too. But I don't like to do every day, because I can be up 2 pounds and then the next day I'm down 3, and then the next day I'm up 1. So once a week is a good check-in point.
Third question, age. Does age work into this? Sure hell works into the workouts, but
it shouldn't. Hormones in women can play a little bit of a role, but that gets challenging. So no. Yep.
Can you address hormones in women?
So
I get a lot of stuff on my feed.
Yes, and I'm not a professional at that. So if I would talk to like an actual nutritionist, because they'll be able to put you on certain foods like carbs and protein during certain times in your cycle, switch out. Because, and it's really important if you're getting closer to like perimenopause and menopause and you have that weight gain. But I'm not gonna get in that today. Maybe we can discuss that later. But as far as, you know, there is some factors. There's also body types. There's mesomorph, there's ectomorph, there's endomorph. But they all still really need to follow, like your body is calories in, calories out, right? If you have some other underlying condition that might be keeping you from losing weight, which is something you totally talk to your doctor about, but generally speaking, it's calories in versus calories out. And if people have a hard time losing weight, it's usually because they're kind of lying to themselves and they're not truly tracking everything they eat. Trust me, it adds up really quick. If you don't measure stuff, you're eyeballing it and you're putting in olive oil in the pan or something, you think you're getting 1 tablespoon, you're probably getting 2. So there's another 100, 150 calories right there of fat, right? Same thing like Alex talked about peanut butter last time. Real easy to go overboard on peanut butter, and until you measure it and you realize how small a tablespoon is, it's really sad, but it's like you have to do that. So your brain goes, okay, well, I was way overeating and that's why I'm not losing weight.
It's like not even worth it.
No, I know. I just quit eating it because I kind of gave up nuts because it's too easy to go overboard on that stuff for me.
Is it the sugar in the peanut butter, or is it the nuts? 'Cause
I think it's the fat. Yeah, and then especially after I was done with the my last bodybuilding competition, I would like almost eat a jar of peanut butter. It's because my body just wanted to put calories on. It's like, you starved me, there's no body fat on you anymore, and like that, my brain just craved it, right? It was weird. So I just stopped eating that kind of stuff. Trigger foods are hard. If you have a trigger food, do your best to just not buy it. If you're a sweets person, I'm like, eat some berries. There's barely any calories in berries. There's not a lot of sugar. You can eat it on a keto diet and they're really low carb. And for me, that satisfies me. I'll even freeze them because it's a little bit harder to eat and it's kind of like a frozen treat. I have tricks, right? I like to do Greek yogurt with a scoop of flavored protein and then I put berries in it. It's kind of like a pudding. It's good. I like it, and there's a lot of protein in that. So, you know, if you need any tricks, because I know protein can be hard to get in, and you know, you don't want to feel like you're just constantly eating meat. Unless you're a huge meat eater, then that's great. But you know, you want to find other ways so you have some variety in your diet.
Question, you mentioned an air fryer earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one, but it sounds like it's misleading. Because isn't that healthy, but does it taste like being fried? Because there's no point in doing it.
It crisps things. I mean, you're still supposed to put a little bit of oil and toss, or I use my spray oil and I'll toss, because then I can kind of control how much I put on. It does not taste like it's fried. So, but it makes it crispier. So, and I like to use it because then it's not making a mess all over my stove. If I, you know, cook chicken in there, and you can just put a little bit of oil. So it's a way to make your food texturally a little bit better, I think.
I really like that crunch.
Yeah. So it makes the potatoes crunchy for sure.
So like if you take too many calories, is it an option to just go for a run, and it doesn't work like that?
If you go over, I mean, you can burn more calories. Yeah. So that's the other thing is like, where does my workout play into my calories? So, if everyone's currently working out now, right? We want to be in a deficit. So you can track your exercise, but that shouldn't really earn you extra calories if your weight, or if your goal is to lose weight, right? But yes, if you went over and you're like, oh shoot, now I need to burn an extra 400 calories because I totally cheated, you could do that, yes. But really you want to just kind of stay consistent with that. Does that make sense?
So, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to repeat yourself, but if you're currently exercising, is that your deficit? Like when you look at what you're...
No.
Okay.
So you're...
But if you're eating like exactly what the calories you need to exist, and you want to cut those calories some amount and exercise, and together that's the deficit?
So if you're currently exercising, you just want to find out how many calories you're eating on a daily basis, right? So if you're really inconsistent, just find like the average, right? And you're currently exercising. So unless you're going to start exercising another hour or so more a day, don't worry about that. Worry about getting this number down, right? Another thing, just because some people can go really extreme on this, no one should be super low calorie, like 1200 or anything like that. that's for people who have like a lot of weight to lose. They might go down to that extreme because they have so much body fat that they can burn. Nobody here needs to be down a dangerous level. So, you know, this was just an example, starting off with 200. I like to tell people just take 100 out every week, right? But you gotta stop at a certain point. Don't go down to like 1,200, 1,100, 1,000 calories. You do need to have some energy for your workout. We're not doing a bodybuilding competition, so nobody should be that low, right? So once you get down to, you know, say you got down to like 1,500, which is fairly low for working out. What I would do, and say you kind of get stuck with that not being able to lose weight, that's when the exercise comes into play. So either adding in weight training, adding in some cardio, right? And that can change that as well, because you don't want to get to like a dangerous level of not eating. Does that make sense? This is only 8 weeks, right? So long term, you guys can talk to me and I can help you with like a more long-term goal, but for the challenge, weight loss or building muscle, you're gonna stick with something like this, right?
So what would you tell them for, if they all do the in-body scan,
Mm-hmm.
they have their BMR,
Mm-hmm.
off of that number, what would you suggest? And the exercising. So if the BMR is 1,800 calories, you're exercising 300 calories, stay at BMR.
Well, that's gonna be, that might not be your maintenance calories. Your maintenance calories might be 200 calories or 300 calories more than that, right? That's just based off of, that's just your lean body mass, right? So, or your BMR. So what I would say is that's gonna give you like an idea of, everybody's maintenance calories are different because everybody's metabolism is different, right? And their activity levels is a little bit different. So what I would do to just keep it simple, use that number to help you find out about how much protein you should be getting, and then track your calories so you can see where you're at and reduce from there. Does that make sense? Yeah. It takes a while to find what your maintenance calories are, and like I said, this challenge is 8 weeks, so if that's something you're interested in, we can address that after the 8-week challenge, because you're gonna have to play with that number. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys, the biggest thing is that tracking is hard. And so the biggest thing about this is like track your food, like take that time, like be diligent. And if you start tracking, you'll be more conscious. You'll be able to see with us, with Emily, what's happening. Because like actually putting that time into tracking and then like measuring is like the biggest hurdle for results.
Right.
And so like focus on tracking. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about meal planning for the
Oh,
week
yeah, I
and
was just gonna
tracking
say,
in batches
yes.
to make it easier as opposed to like measuring every meal anymore?
So what I do is I make food for about 3 days, because anything more than that, I feel like it gets gross, or soggy. So I'll make a batch of rice. I'll make a big thing of cooked oatmeal. And you might want to you're gonna have to spend some time food prepping, right? That's gonna be probably another, other than tracking, your most successful way to adhere to your diet. If you don't food prep, it's really easy to go way off your diet. You're just like, I'm hungry, screw it, I'm just gonna eat this in the fridge, right? And then this is blunt, right? So making sure that you food prep, spend 1 or 2 days a week. Like you can do your food prep for the whole week if you want. I personally like to do it a couple days a week. So you gotta find time, make your proteins ahead of time. If you have time for dinner, like I like to make dinner anyways, so this is usually always fresh. But if you don't have time for that, then make it ahead of time and you just reheat it, right? So you're gonna spend a day making your rice, making a big thing of your ground turkey. You do need a scale, okay? Because you can use the hand guide, and that's kind of like if you're eyeballing, if you're out, that works great. But at home, just get a scale so you can measure your ounces or your grams. Does that make sense? Because, like I said, the biggest mistakes I've seen people make is they're underestimating how many calories that they're eating, right? And it's really easy to just accidentally go 500 calories over if you're not measuring, right? Did you have one question about the food prep though? Does that make sense? Like how to food prep or
Yeah.
when?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to make time for
I
it.
guess if you're making a recipe though, you just.
So you can do a recipe. MyFitnessPal. You can actually import a recipe. I'm not sure if you have to pay for it anymore. I have a bunch of recipes in mine
You do, yeah.
in order to do the
And
recipe.
then you just divide it by how many
Servings.
servings.
Yeah. Say you made like a casserole with your rice and, you know, ground beef and veggies or something like that. And then you just want to make sure that you import that recipe. Otherwise, you have to do all the math yourself. And then determine how many servings are in that and put in your serving. But yeah, you can do that. Is it anybody not familiar with MyFitnessPal? Has everybody used it before? What's that?
I'm installing it now.
Oh, okay. Should I go over that really quick?
Don't do it for me.
Yeah. Who else hasn't used MyFitnessPal before? So yeah, I guess quick. Yeah.
Okay. Does everyone have it on their phone?
Do it now. Go to your app store.
And you know, if you guys want to ask, that one of us three can help you like set that up. You don't necessarily have to do it today, but you're gonna go in and you're gonna make your profile. I did mine a long time ago, so I don't remember. You hit more, and then you go to my profile. You're gonna put in. Oh, that's not where it is. Edit profile. Okay, so then you're gonna put in your name, age, height, blah, 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 blah. Weight, you can put in on your goals, your weight loss goals, right? And then under that same bar, it says nutrition goals. So calorie, carbs, protein, and fat. As you see, I've got mine all set up. This is just actually an example, but at the 40, 40, 20, right? And it tells me how many grams of protein, so carbs and fat every day. Cool, that's all set up, save that. And then you're gonna go down to diary. You're gonna go breakfast or lunch, right? You click on it and it has this food library. So it'll either it'll keep a running list of frequently eaten foods. So if you are eating similar stuff every day, that's nice, especially because you're gonna probably be eating the same amount, so you can just easily plug that in. This is the free version, by the way, because I'm cheap. I'm not paying for the whole thing because it works fine for me. You can't scan a barcode though if you don't pay for it. So if you want the scan a barcode option, you have to do the subscription. So you can enter that food and then say like, okay, so sirloin steak is on here, right? The serving size it gives is 4, and since I'm having 5, let's say I had 6, then I'm gonna change the amount. I'm gonna put 1.5, right? And hit the check mark, and it's gonna log that into my lunch if I go back out, right? 414 calories. So once you do that for the day, it's got a spot for snacks, so you can put all your snacks. Scroll all the way down when you want to check and hit nutrition, and it's gonna tell you, so just that sirloin steak, I'm at 45% or 45 grams of protein, right here in parentheses. I'm sorry, that was protein, 55% fat, 24 grams of fat. So close to what my daily amount would be. You can put your exercise in here, right? If it's strength, it won't count anything. Doesn't matter. So like for CrossFit, even though we do strength, I go into cardio and I put circuit training, and I kind of just generalize how much, right? Just so I know. And that's just for accountability for myself. It'll tell you, ooh, cool, you earned 300 extra calories. No, you did not. We're trying to lose. Everybody here is currently exercising, right? So we're just gonna focus on the food for right now. But if you want to keep yourself accountable for exercise, it is good to put that in there, just so you can say like, oh, okay, I only went in 3 times this week, like maybe I need to bump it up. And then at the end of the day, you can hit complete diary, either up here in the corner or down here And if something changed, you know, you can go ahead and plug in your food for the next day if you know what you're gonna eat, which is great because then you've already put it in, you've already planned it. Makes it a little bit easier so you don't cheat. At least for me, right?
One thing that I noticed the last time I was doing all of this was that I think that there are some in that diary thing that you can choose that may not be accurate. And on mine, it would show like a check mark next to it, and I would use the ones that had the check marks next to it. But it would show other, because I think other people can put theirs in there too.
Oh, right, it might have like a database of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a shared thing, and you can choose something that says like 0 fat, but all this calories and protein.
Right.
So I accidentally did that once and I thought this is not right, and so I had to delete it and choose something else. So I would just say, make sure that when you're choosing it,
be wary of what you're choosing.
Right,
Yeah. Okay. You know, if it has some fat content in it. Okay. That's good. I wasn't aware of that. So
I didn't know it either until I chose it, and then I was like, that's not right.
Well, I do notice like when you select a brand of something, and there might be several different options of that brand, but I'll look at each one of them, and if they're all pretty much the same, I'll try and go with the ones that are similar and just pick one from that. But yeah.
I'm usually confused. I was trying to add a latte for this morning, and it says it has like, I don't know how many carbs.
You were trying to add what?
A latte.
Oh.
It's just coffee and milk. I made it myself. There's no other ingredients, but it's like.
So what I would do is put
around.
coffee in there, however many ounces of coffee, and then however many ounces of milk. You don't have to put that it was a
I
latte.
read an article that they don't specify like a cappuccino or a latte because people make it so many different ways. That they can't tell. So you have to add your espresso and the milk you use, like whether it's soy, almond, coconut, whatever, you have to break it down. And then you can save it every day
and then just use it every time.
Oh yeah, you can save the recipe that you made for yourself too.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
The other thing that's fun is if you upgrade to the vegan subscription, is you can scan all your food as you're putting it away.
Right.
And then it's there.
Right.
And you select it.
Yep.
That makes it easier.
Yep.
How many calories should you be like eating a day, you think?
Everybody's different. So you have to find, that's what I was talking about. So you need to track, especially, I know we're on week 2, right? So if you haven't been tracking, definitely do it now. Maybe even just the next 3 days, see where you're at and take an average. So for example, like I said, maybe one day you don't get enough calories in and you're like at 1,500, and then the next day you're like 2,400, and maybe the next day you're like 1,800. Just add those together and divide by 3, and that'll be your starting point, right? And maybe try and stay consistent with that amount for a couple days, right? And then we'll start subtracting from there. Whatever, I'm gonna erase it, yes.
Let's talk packages. Oh, now we go.
I'm going to Belgium for a week for work in the beginning of October.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Italy for a couple weeks after that.
Oh, yay.
And I think that'll be easier because I'm going to meet Sylvia and she's crazy about
Oh, yeah.
food, so it'll be not like a normal Italy trip.
Oh, good.
The Belgium one I'm worried about. Like, what do you even do? Like, how can I prepare food to take with me? Like, surely I'll go out to dinner and whatever, but like, I don't even know what to eat in the meantime in Belgium.
Well, they have grocery stores, so they usually have the same kind of foods that we have. I mean,
It's on a different planet, but
right.
I don't know. It's fast process.
Yeah, it'll definitely be better for you than the food we have here.
I can't cook it with egg.
This should be a group.
Yeah, that's how I'll help you. Okay.
I
guess
usually-
that's the trick.
I usually travel a lot, and what I try to do is try to get where you like, you can actually eat pretty well on those trips as long as you're more or less vigilant of, like the breakfasts are great.
Yeah.
Like you can like avoid the bread too much and go for it.
Right. I was in Mexico when I was training for one of my bodybuilding competitions, so that was super fun. I had to work out every single day, every morning, and then, you know, I had my eggs, my chicken breast. I was making all my own meals. We did eat out one night, because it was like at a resort or all inclusive. and I just got chicken breast and steamed veggies with like nothing else on it, and maybe some rice or whatever was on my thing. But you can make it work. So you know, it's Whole Foods, and you can get Whole Foods pretty much
Probably
anywhere.
easier there than here. Yeah,
I
that's
probably,
so-
yeah,
I've never been, but I would guess.
yeah, yeah. What were you saying, Alex?
Let's talk about one-on-one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if that's something you're interested in, you guys, one-on-one with me pretty much includes like helping you with your meal plan, weekly check-ins. I have like food lists, examples of diets, and I can help you with that and help you kind of tweak it on a more individual basis. If that's something you're interested in, 1 month would be $199, 3 months $499, so save a little bit on that. And so that would give you more one-on-one coaching and more help. So if you need something more personalized.
How would one month look like? What are they getting out of it and stuff?
Oh, well, meeting together, talking about your diet. I can help you guys find your maintenance calories, and based off of what your goal, your long-term goal is going to be, I will help you tailor and fix your diet to get you to what your ultimate goal is, because it's going to be a little bit different for every person. And like I said, weekly check-ins at the very least, just because you need to kind of be able to bounce back, chat about what your diet's been like, challenges for the week, even your fitness, and helping you get your food squared away and kind of helping you be successful, right? And giving you some accountability as well.
And just know, guys, like so you're doing the challenge. If you don't use Emily, like obviously totally fine, but we're kind of going live with her being like our gym nutritionist now. And so like after 2 months challenge, like you see your results. If nothing like changed a whole lot, like hit her up. Maybe like it's a few months down the road. Maybe it's like January after the holidays. You're like, man, I need some support. Like contact her, use her for a month, 3 months. Like just getting.
And I'm available if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even if you're not going to do one-on-one, if you have a question, like you can hit me up. I'll
The nice
definitely
thing
help
though
you out.
about having that is that we all lack the accountability, and so if she is on Friday, you know she's gonna be calling you at noon. It's a personal conversations. How did your week go? Then you can talk through things like, you know, I felt super sluggish, like all my workouts sucked, like, well, let's do this, and like, what have you been doing? And so you have that kind of person to like bounce things off of.
Well, and for my client, when she was cutting, you know, we talk on a regular basis, and I would tweak her macros and stuff. If she had like super low energy, we would switch it around. And like I said, she's FODMAP, lots of food allergies, so you know, it takes a lot more brainstorming. Sometimes you're kind of lost on your own. You're like, I don't know how to do this. How am I gonna get more protein in, or how am I gonna whatever? And you know, I'm a good tool for that because I can help you with that. I've worked with lots of people with dietary issues. It doesn't look like anyone here has that, so that's great. But yeah, so getting a little more help one-on-one is definitely gonna help people who are struggling with consistency and seeing results.
Awesome.
Cool.
And then throughout this challenge, you guys, like again, you can talk to Emily, you can message me, talk to me, Carrie, any coaches, like asking questions, like maybe like you're at like 5 a.m. you have a question about my fitness pal, like ask anybody, but go to Emily for like you know, when you know that you aren't seeing results, or you want to like really dig in and like get extra support, because it is hard on your own. A lot of us will like think we can do it, and then like down the road it's like we just fall into like our main neutral routine, and then like it's not working. But you know, also if you hit way over your calories one day, like don't let that keep happening. Like, you know, she's saying don't go over 2,300. Like it's okay, it like happens. Life, we eat too much one night, whatever. Like wine, cheese, okay, like tomorrow, like go back, like that kind of snowball is what really has things not change for us. So
Exactly.
cool. Any other questions?
Break.
Yeah, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.